Adaptive Reef has just released their first ever protein skimmer lineup, and I've got to say, I'm impressed. They've done some very cool and innovative things with these skimmers. These might just be the first skimmers that actually have 4 separate points of control for dialing in the perfect skim, which makes a lot of sense given that they set out to create one of the most adjustable and adaptable skimmers ever. The Adaptive Reef skimmers are available in 2 models, the A6 200 and the A8 300, and like their name suggests, they are rated for aquariums up to 200 and 300 gallons respectively. While much of this skimmer looks very familiar, like the wine bottle body, the wedge style riser pipe, and the internal pump to keep that footprint down to a minimum, there are a few really awesome features that really sets it apart from most other skimmers on the market. The one that I think is going to stand out the most at first glance is going to be the airflow meter. Rather than just a simple threaded air valve or a twist silencer like we see on some skimmers, Adaptive Reef has gone above and beyond and added an LZM airflow meter. So not only can you get fine control over the air to organics ratio for your skimmer, but you can also get a real-time readout of how much airflow matches up to the amount of organics in your aquarium. This takes a lot of the guesswork out of the equation, makes it easier to always return to the best setting for your aquarium after maintenance, and can also let you know when your pump or venturi need to be cleaned, as the airflow will drop without any adjustment to the valve or pump speed. The next big difference between this and any other skimmer that I've previously used is that these skimmers come with neck inserts. For example, the A6 200 model that I have here has a roughly 4-inch size neck with a pair of inserts that will reduce it to roughly 3 inches and 2 inches. Being able to reduce the neck size is almost like having 3 separate skimmers in one. A smaller neck size means in lower nutrient systems, like in a newly set up reef tank that has less organics and will create a smaller amount of foam, you can still get that smaller amount of foam to travel up and into the collection cup. And as your system grows and fills in and you add more inhabitants, instead of getting a larger skimmer, you can put in a larger insert, or just remove the inserts altogether to increase that neck diameter to accommodate those extra organics and that larger amount of foam. This means you are way less likely to need to ever upgrade or downgrade your skimmer if you happen to size it to your aquarium incorrectly, and instead the skimmer can just adapt to your tank. See what I did there? Adapt? Adaptive Reef? Okay, it's not exactly a stretch, but it's still a pun. Adaptive Reef also very clearly wanted to make sure that their skimmers are built to last and used premium materials like PVC, not only for the plumbing, but also for key components on the cup, silencer assembly, body, and base of the skimmer. They also opted to use titanium thumb screws everywhere that you'd expect to find nylon, and rather than standard threaded, barbed fittings where tubing needs to be attached, you've got really nice push connect fittings, which is just awesome. And to top it all off, like other premium skimmer brands, Adaptive Reef has placed a Seachain SDC Wi-Fi app controllable pump at the heart of their skimmers. So not only do you have a physical controller to adjust the pump speed and pause the pump for feeding or dosing, but you can also control your skimmer through the Seachain Control app. And if the pump ever loses connection to the cloud like it would during a power outage, the app can actually send you a notification to let you know that your aquarium might be without power, which is a literal lifesaver. The Seachain PSK 1200 pump is also Apex ready, so for all you Apex users, you can also control your skimmer in Fusion using IOTA. And having that DC controllable pump means that this skimmer technically has 4 different points of tuning. First, you can select the neck insert that best matches up with your bioload, and if you're unsure, starting with the smallest neck insert is always a safe bet, especially on a newer reef aquarium. Next, you can adjust the pump speed to roughly dial in the air to organics ratio. Basically, you want to set it so that you're seeing a stable foam building up inside of the body rather than just that roiling, boiling water look. Then use the dial on the airflow gauge to fine tune the amount of air required to produce a stable foam. And finally, you can choose how wet or dry you'd like to skim by adjusting the wedge pipe until that foam starts reaching the cup. Once you have everything locked in, take note of the amount of airflow on the gauge and use the titanium thumb screws to lock the wedge pipe in place. Then when it eventually comes time for maintenance, you can either drop the drain line from the cup into a container and open the valve to drain off wet skimmate, or remove the skimmer cup and take it to a sink for a thorough cleaning. The cup itself uses a twist and lift design, which is my personal favorite since you don't risk jerking the cup, which can happen with a press fit cup and ultimately causes some pretty stinky spills in the process. You can also disassemble the entire skimmer for a full cleaning, and all of those push connect fittings and quality titanium thumb screws make that process super easy, especially since Adaptive Reef gives you a nifty tool for all of those thumb screws, so you won't need to worry about any of your personal tools getting rusty, which is a really nice touch. Speaking of nice touches, when it comes to the warranty on that skimmer pump, CJ gives you a full 5 years, which is just incredible, and with all of the premium materials put into these incredibly flexible skimmers, I imagine that they're gonna last at least that long, if not much longer. So for those of you who wanna pick up one skimmer and not have to worry about upgrading, downgrading, and buyer's remorse, you can check out these adaptive skimmers by clicking right here.